Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is a Fun Stuff Friday and we have some fun stuff that I bought and had sent to Canada because they would not ship to the US. So a friend of ours was coming down to the Maker Faire for 3D printing. So I sent them to him and he met up with Bob at the 3D printing Maker Faire and now I have them, because Bob's home and he brought me my pencils. Yay! So these are the Seeing Essence pencils. This is the swatch chart that you can get off of AliExpress. I have been trying to translate it, but the resolution of it is not very good. So I'm having some difficulties. So once I do get this all translated, I will translate the swatch chart. Until then, it's not really translated. So this is the color order in from 1 to 120. I don't like it. So I did go through and rearrange everything. They are an oil-based pencil. They are a 3.3 millimeter core, so they are a smaller core. Excuse me. Um, but they are a nice smooth pencil. They're not really extremely soft, but they are smooth, if that makes sense. So here is the tin that they come in, and it's so pretty. It is a very pretty tin. I do not have my pencils in here because I went through and I rearranged them. Now, the one thing I don't like is look how small that is. Like, how are you supposed to see that? You know, it's got a huge thing here. You know, you could fill that in a little more. I could not read that. Even if I tried with my glasses on and, you know, right up on top of it, I had troubles reading it. The trays they come in are, of course, are just basic plastic trays. They don't have any handles or anything. They've just got this little indent. So they are a little difficult to take in and out, but that's the tin. On the back side of the tin is nothing other than the seekwoods.com, which I do believe is the company that created it, and a couple of different QR codes here that I haven't tried yet. So let's take a look at seekwoods.com and see what that does, because I didn't see that because I was looking at the pencils, not the back of the box. So let's try seekwoods.com. Okay. So let's do www.seekwoods.com. So it okay, so that I do believe that site is, yeah. So that page is no longer available. So www.seekwoods.com is currently unavailable. So let's see what the QR codes are. Just because, you know. Okay. So they are some websites too. Let's see. WeChat. We don't want to do that. So let's take a look at this one. doesn't, nothing for me. Okay, so it goes to a website called WeChat.com, which doesn't want to load on my phone. Sorry guys, you guys are probably not seeing anything that I'm doing. Let's see if this one will do it. There we go. And yeah, so those don't seem to be working for me either. So, but there is the box. They are an oil-based pencil. Like I said, they are a 3.3 millimeter core. So let's take a look at the pencils now. The pencils are a white barrel pencil. They have the Seeing Essence name here. Let's find a better pencil for that. And move you over to the close-up screen so you can actually see a little bit better. It's kind of difficult because they're all white, so yeah, that's not going to help either. So as you can see, it says Seeing Essence there and the color number there. On the other side is a little patch of Chinese writing, and that actually is the company name in Chinese. I was hoping that it was the color name, but yeah, no. And my camera is off again. Hold on a sec. Let's fix that. Configure. The contrast is off, I think. Let's see. Because it looks a little orange. Oh, it's not too bad. There, that's a little better. All right, so maybe now we can see it a little bit better. So as you can see, it's got a little Asian eye here and then Seeing Essence. The cores themselves are a nice core. They do come pre-sharpened, and most of them sharpened, colored quite well with just being sharpened. I did do a swatch, so of course we will be looking at our swatch chart. So grab a cup of coffee and oh, there we go. It looks better. So that's the rearrangement, and I'll show you that in just a moment here. Grab your cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the swatch. It will take about 3 or 4 minutes. Of course, I will be right back after the swatch, and it is swatch time, people. Okay, so that wasn't so bad. Now, I do have a couple of different ones that I put in the wrong place, like this one here should be over here, and I will be moving those around and probably re-swatching again after I do the translation. If I can get the translation done, I will be moving this one definitely. Um, and this one here. Now, I know why I put that one there. Um, this one, and these ones are all aquatic colors, so that's why that one's there. So that one will stay there. This one here, however, does need to be over here. All right, so we have, I'm going to switch you over to the close-up camera here. So we have our yellows, and it has a fantastic range of yellow from everything from a very, very light yellow to a very dark yellow. So it does have a really good selection of yellows. So we've got our bright yellows here, and then we have our muted yellows here. So it's got some tanny yellows, almost an orange yellow, into our oranges and our skin tones here. These are all like peach and apricot, those kind of colors, salmon, light salmon, that sort of thing. And then we go into our oranges. This one here ended up with some ink from my printer being pulled into it. That is not something that is in the pencil, that is from the ink. Yeah, I was not happy when it did that. So we've got our bright oranges here, and then we've got our darker oranges there. And then we go into our reds and our burnt reds here, our brighter reds down here, and then we start going into our pinks. Now these two here are borderline pink, um, purple kind of colors. So I would probably move those over here and put this one after. Same with this one here. It's more of a peach tone. I would probably put it up here where it should have been in the first place. When I first did the swatch, it looked like a darker pink, but now that I'm looking at it, I think I have it in the wrong space. But that's one of those things that we do. So we've got our reds into our dark pinks, into our light pinks, and it has a fantastic range of pink into our red violet colors, into our violet colors, and then into our blue violet colors down here. And then we start into our blues, and it has a wide range of blue all the way into our aquatic blues and our aquatic greens, into our greens. And again, it has a really good selection of green all the way into our olive greens and that sort of thing. This one here should be over here, and I'll be moving that one. And then we go into our tanny browns down here, and then our red browns and our dark browns. And then we go into our grays. And again, it has a really good selection of gray, both warm grays as well as cool grays. And then, of course, we have our black, and up here we have our white. Now, I'm going to do I need a pen. I forgot to do this beforehand. So I'm going to do it now. So I'm going to do up our swatch here. So we're going to do our testing. So the first test that we do, of course, is water testing. So I'm just going to put 3 circles here for water testing. And we're going to do our yellow, red, and blue, as well as smudge testing. Now these are hastily done, so more than likely are going to be uneven and maybe a little messier than my normal thing, because normally I have this done already. And I got sidetracked with doing things and trying to figure out if I can translate that color chart that I found on the website. when I tried to translate it through my um, program connecting it to the web, it was a little too blurry, a little too fuzzy to translate. So, okay. So we're going to do a 3 blend, a rainbow blend, then we're going to do a white and a um, pencil, blender pencil. Okay. So now we're going to grab our colors. So we need number 48. Which is this one here. Our yellow is going to be number 41. It should be this one here. No, this one here. All right, and our blue, we're going to go with the truest blue of all, which is number 67, which is right here. All right, so we have our red, blue, and yellow. I'm going to quickly put these through. Actually, I think I've already sharpened them. So I'm going to give these a bit of a sharpen. I'm just trying to decide which sharpener I'm going to use. I'm going to use my Tagal. We'll see how well they sharpen with the Tagal. So it gets it to a really good point, which is fantastic. They didn't have any coating on them, but they were sharpened blunt. So if you don't like that blunt sharpen, give them a sharpen. But they did not have any coating on them. All right, now we're going to flip this over and we're going to do our water test. So we're going to start with our red. Yeah, let's start with our red. And these are a thinner core. They do remind me quite a bit of the Tombow Iriditan pencils. I find the Tombows are really smooth, but a nice hard pencil as well. As you can see, it does keep its point fairly well. And it does fill in that color really well. So I'm just putting a couple of layers, getting it to the saturation that I would normally get it to when I'm coloring. And then we'll dust that off, make sure that there's no remnants of pencil on there because I snapped the tip because I sharpened it really sharp. Now we're going to use our yellow. Just using a medium light pressure, filling in the tooth of the paper. Like so. Again, we're going to dust it off, make sure that we don't have any remnants. Now, the reason why I'm doing it exactly the same way that I would when I'm coloring is because typically I don't add liquid products, so water-based products such as stickles, gel pen, glitter pen, paint pen, anything like that, until after I have colored the entire page. So I want this to be in the finished zone because that's how I would be using water on top of it. Now, typically I would also have already burnished it as well as blended it, but we're not going to do that yet. So I've got my water brush here, and it's damp, but it's not soaking wet. Ooh, that runs. So as you can see, that definitely moves with water. For the red, I'm going to wipe that red off. The yellow you can't see very well, but I'm picking up some of it on the brush. So I'm going to wipe that off. And then the blue as well. And as you can see, it definitely runs as well. So these are definitely water soluble. So make sure that when you are using these, if you do purchase these pencils, make sure that you use your Caran d'Ache blender and seal the color before you go and start using your water products on it. All right, so let's see if it'll smudge. This is a big problem for me because I have a tendency to rub my hand over an area that I've colored, just coloring the next area. So I have a tendency to smoosh and rub the heel of my hand across a colored area. And I have found several times with several different sets of pencils that I've moved color into areas that I didn't want that color to be and created a bit of a mud. And I don't like that. So now I test to see if I'm going to smudge the pencils. Because if the pencils do move a lot with movement of the hand, I will finish the page by burnishing before I start moving on to the next area. The best thing that I have found is the Caran d'Ache blender does have a heavy wax to it. So the wax in the Caran d'Ache blender does have a tendency to seal it in really, really well. Now somebody just rang my doorbell, so I'm going to have to put you on a little bit of a I'll be right back moment, just so I can see who is ringing my doorbell. So you look at the pencils, and I shall be right back. All right, well, sorry about that. All right, so let's see if we can get these to smudge. With the fact that the water moved them, I'm pretty sure that they're going to smudge. Yeah. So definitely one of those pencils that you would have to make sure that you use the Caran d'Ache blender on and get that layer of wax protecting your pencils. All right, so let's see if we can do a three-tone blend, a gradient blend. So let's grab this one, and this one. We're going to do it in blue, just because blue is quite easy in this set. So we're going to go from light, medium to dark. So we're going to start with our light, and this one is number 29. Yeah. And again, we're going to build that color nice and deep. Let's put those up there so you can actually see what I'm doing. And build that color up. Make sure that we leave the tail for the next color. So there's our tail, and there's our completed side there. So make sure we have a good tail here. Now the next color we're going to use is number 28. Go right into that tail. Leave another tail here. And we'll fill this in. So we've got our tail there, and then we'll take our dark one, which is number 66. Right into the tail. And I think this one was a little bit darker than I wanted, but that's okay. So we'll go into it with our light, and we're going to darken it up. So this is the medium tone. Blending that in, and then our light tone. So it does definitely blend together, so we have no hard lines going from our blend. So this is the light into the medium, medium into the dark, and there's no hard start and stop lines, which is great. Okay, so let's do our rainbow. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our red, leave a tail for our yellow to make orange, and so forth. So we've got our red here. I'm going to do a full line of it, giving us that tail, and then we're going to concentrate on half of it, filling that in for our red. So there's our red. Now we're going to start our orange by going over the red with the yellow. We're going to go further with the yellow because we want a tail for the blue. But we want that middle area to remain yellow. All right, now we're going to take our red again, and we're just going to fill that in. Fill in any areas that have more yellow than orange. And then we'll go this way. So as you can see, there's an orange color there. Now we have our yellow, and then we're going to take our yellow and we're going to go into the yellow with the blue. And create that green. Now we're going to go back over it with the yellow, blending that blue into the yellow. And it actually makes it very pretty green. Sometimes it takes a couple of layers just to make sure that you have a proper combination, a proper mix. But it definitely does do the rainbow. So we've got red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. And if we were to extend the blue out, we could put the red onto the blue and make purple. So it definitely does the rainbow, which is great. All right, so let's take a look at whether or not they blend with the white pencil. Now remember, with white you're going to end up losing some of the color from your color. So I'm going to use the 66, which is this dark blue here, because it's a nice dark blue. And I'm going to move this, trying to move it so that I can get a good amount of color down. Now remember, when you're using a Caran d'Ache blender, you have to make sure that you have enough color down to move that color around to fill in that white spot. Now I'm not going to fill in all of the white spot. I'm just going to put down a really good layer of color. And we're going to use the white pencil to fill in that white spot. So we're going to blend it with the white and see if we can blend that color into the white spot itself. And it does blend. It's just not, I don't typically like using the white because it dulls it down so much. The one great thing about the white is that you can up the color. So if you find that it's not blending it enough, you can add a little bit more color on top of the white and then use the white again to blend it in. And it does blend with the white. I just personally don't like blending with white unless I have, unless there are instances where I prefer to blend with the white because I want that color to be dissipated. Let's see if I can get this thing to sharpen. That's pretty good. Right. So I've got my Caran d'Ache blender here, and we're going to do the same thing with the same color on this side. Again, I'm just filling it in. I'm not worried about how much white spot there is, but I want to make sure that I have plenty of pigment on the page so that the blender can do its job. Alright, so let's take our blender, and I'm going to go in the opposite direction. Maybe not. And go this way first. So the Caran d'Ache blender does seem to be working quite well. I have found very few pencils that the Caran d'Ache bright stick doesn't work on. I think I've only found 1 or 2 sets that it just doesn't work on. It's just nope. So as you can see, that was a lot easier than it was with the white, and I maintained that bright color. So let's talk price. So these are ranging it at approximately $84 plus $1.80 shipping. Let's see if we can find a different price with the shipping included. Let's see. So to the United States, it seems that they have changed it a little bit. where the shipping is $11.80. So it comes out to $96. I think, let's see. No, that's only 72. I'm just going through and making sure that I have the best deal available. That's the thing with AliExpress is you have to go through and take a look around and make sure that you have the best deal available. And um, sometimes you just got to search around a little bit. All right, so let's just make sure. So that's the one that we've already looked at. So that does seem to be the standard from what I'm seeing. Usually, let's just take this off so that we only get the Seeing Essence. There we go, that's better. So yeah. So $84.93 plus $11.80 shipping. So that's $84.93 plus $11.80 shipping plus tax. All right. So let's take a look. So that is the cost of the pencils at this point of time. Because I bought them at a time where they weren't shipping to the United States, they were a little bit less than that for me. Now, if you have somebody in Canada, I do believe that $11.80 isn't there. So if you have somebody in Canada that you can ship them to, that will ship them to you, you may save that $11.80. So $84.93 plus $11.80. So without tax, it's $96.73, and then we're going to divide that by 120 pencils, which comes out to 80 cents a pencil, which isn't too bad. So I think that classifies it as a fairly budget-friendly pencil. You can get this in smaller sets. You can buy it in 24, 36, 48, and 72, as well as the 120. Another thing I wanted to take a look at was the Irigeton. So let's grab those for just a quick second here. And we'll take a look and compare them apples to apples, right? We'll compare color to color, and we'll see if they feel the same or if they work the same. So my desk is a mess right now, so I've got pencils everywhere. So let's see. Let's grab. So as you know, with the Irigeton, they have the color names on them as well as the numbers. So that in itself makes it a much better pencil to me, because I don't have to guess. I don't have to try to figure it out. All right, so let's put them side by side here. The Irigeton are a little bit thinner, definitely a little bit thinner. Like I said, do have the name as well as their number on them. And let's color with. Let's see the difference in the pigment. So this is 1, so that's 1 up, 1 down. That's 2. So that's 3 layers, and it seems to have covered quite nicely. And that's the irigeton. So let's do that same thing with the Seeing Essence. So this is the eye. So this is the Seeing Essence. Now they're not going to be the same color because I didn't grab the same colors. So there's 1, 2, 3. So about the same amount of coverage. The Seeing Essence, of course, is lighter because it is a lighter color. So if you look at the end of the pencils here, you'll see this is darker than this. They do seem to have the same wood. It's approximately the same color and the same density and the same type of writing on them. Silver writing, that sort of thing. Are they a knockoff of Tombow? I don't think so. I think they're a little bit softer than the Tombow. I think the Tombow are a little bit more pigmented in this instance. Both covered really, really nicely. Let's grab a red because I think this is pretty close to the same red. Yeah. So here we have cherry red, and we'll try the same thing. So this one here is the Tombow, and you'll see the white spot through a little bit easier than on the yellow. So that's down 1, up 1, down 2, up 2, and 3. Usually you do this about 5 times to get full coverage. So that's 3. Down 1, up 1, down 2, up 2, down 3, and up 3. So the depth of color with the 3 passes does seem to be a lot more coverage with the Seeing Essence than with the Tombows. Like I said, they are a much sharper, harder pencil than the Seeing Essence. They're both just as smooth, and I can probably blend them together, so that they do blend. It is going into that other color. I'm blending it over, so you can definitely use them together, which is cool. Let's see if we can do the same thing here. Now go blend from one to the other down that center line. In essence, removing that center line. So yeah, I think it works quite nicely in blending them together. So are they the irigetons? No, I don't believe they are. I think the irigetons are a little bit thinner in the pencil, as well as the core is a little bit thinner. And the irigetons are, even though they are a nice smooth pencil, are a little bit of a harder pencil. So you are going to have more ability to do those really fine detailed areas with the Irrigeton pencils. We're going to flip this over and we're going to color a couple of things here. So let's start with our normal coloring of our flower here. So I need number 53, which should be on the end of this one. All right, I'm just going to sharpen this. Number 53 is our darkest color, and then we're going to move into our darker pinks. So this is more of a burgundy red color, this one here. And we're going to see how well this blends into those other colors without a blender. I'm not going to go really deep with it. I'm just going to do the very, very center areas. I'm not going to go deep into the petal with it. I do apologize for the interruption earlier. It was somebody at the door for the dog. Dog groomer that does the neighbor's dogs. All right. Once again, just going a little bit into those lines like so, and then we're going to go into our deeper pinks. So we're going to go number 20, which I think is this one here. No, that's 21. Too far. Number 20 is, let's just chuck them in everywhere. There's number 20. Again, just going to sharpen it with the Tegel. And we're just going to come down into that red and just bring it up a little bit. And the reason why I'm going from dark to light on this one is because I want that light color that I'm going to use. I'm going to use the lightest color soon. I want that light color to blend these colors a little bit muted. So I want it to knock some of the color out of this, which will give that dimension, that depth. But they are a very, very smooth pencil. It's just gliding on this paper. Which is awesome. Nothing worse than getting a scratchy pencil. Especially when you're looking forward to it and waiting for them for so long. But they seem to be very nice. Again, this is the only time I've actually colored with them, and this is the 67-pound cardstock, so it's not a coloring book, and that of course is going to make a difference. Coloring book paper does make a huge difference when coloring with colored pencils. Paper is everything sometimes. Sometimes you just have to find the right pencils for the paper that you're trying to color on. So why don't I do this on coloring book paper? Well, because I want to get the best results with my swatches so that when I do have good paper, I'm able to see what the pencils are going to work as, how they're going to work. So this one is number 15 and it's the lightest pink. Well, maybe number 16 is lighter. Let's do number 16. This one's number 16 and it's the lightest pink we're going to use. And I'm just going into those other pinks and the red and dragging it in and just lightening some of those areas. And blending them all together. So this is another way that you blend. Sometimes you don't need to use a blender pencil, you don't need to use your white. You just use the lightest color that you're going to use to blend all those colors together, to bring them all into one space. If you find that you have a stubborn one, you can definitely use the blender pencil or the white. Though if you have a stubborn color that doesn't want to blend with a light color, it's not going to blend very well with the white. Just saying. Most of the time I try to blend with the lightest color and then go through with the blender just to seal it up. Because like I said, I do have a tendency to rub my hand over areas of my picture and I have ruined a couple doing that. So I have learned my lesson and I do try to blend when I'm moving things around. Just going to fill that in. All right. So that is a really pretty blend. I really like it. It's very subtle, but it's still deep enough that it gives you that deep look. This one here, I think I want a little bit deeper. So I'm just going to adjust it a little bit with my deepest color. Right around at the edges. Just getting any white areas that I didn't get before. And then we're going to take our yellow and we're going to do our center. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other petals here, the other flowers. Now these ones here, I'm going to use a lot more of that dark pink than I did on this one because it is still partially closed. So that dark pink is going to be the shadow tone. So I'm going to come up here where the shadow is going to be, and over here, and here. Now this is where that petal is going to be. So we've got a shadow on the back side of this petal because this petal is in front of it. And I probably was off screen the whole time. Sorry guys. So this part here, I'm shadowing the entire petal with the dark pink. I'm leaving that open for the light pink, and then I'm going to come through here and I'm going to shadow to here with the dark pink. This is all going to be dark pink here. Like so. And then we're going to take our light pink and we're going to blend that all together. So when you have a shadow like that, it's best to use your medium tone, which will give you that look of overlap. Because even though they're not see-through, they are going to be influenced by what's laying on top of them instead of the light going through them, if that makes sense. And then for our bud, I'm going to come through here with a lot more of that red than I did on the open flowers, because this is a tightly wound little bud. We're not going to be using any of the light pink on it. We're going to use the red and the dark pink red and the dark pink. It's kind of a burgundy wine red kind of color, like so. All right, so let's grab a couple of greens. I want a dark green. So number 75. Actually, let's go with 73. And go with number 73 here, which is our dark green. Again, I use the Tegel sharpener, which it does seem to be working quite nicely. I am finding that the Tegel, as long as you empty it, because I do have a tendency not to do that, doesn't do too bad with sharpening the pencils. It has enough of a hold on the pencil that my jerkiness doesn't tear the pencil in half. So, which is why I tend not to use them, is because I have a bit of a twitch, and the only thing I can explain it as is a bit of a twitch. I can't seem to hold pencils still when I'm sharpening them. And when I try to turn the pencil, it just makes a mess. And that's why I tend to use the hand cranks or the electric sharpeners more, because then it's out of my control. I don't have any, it doesn't have any problems that I have, I guess is the way to put it. All right, now we're going to take a really light green. So let's actually grab number 34 here. And we're going to blend that in. For our leaves. Let's fix that. I don't know why it does that every once in a while. It's way too saturated. trying to get the green to show. There we go. That's better. Sometimes my white balance goes off. And it decides that it's going to change the greens to gray. Which, doesn't help. It does not help with you guys actually seeing what I'm doing. But you'll see it when I move over to the other camera as well. Alright, so there's our pretty little leaves, like so. Alright, so now we're going to do our ladybug. We're going to take that same burgundy red and we're going to do the shadow areas of the ladybug. And then we're going to take the bright red that we were using earlier, go right over top of that. And blend that all in. I think I need to zoom that out a little bit. I think that's my problem is I've got it zoomed in too far. Trying to keep it in line for you guys, and I've got it zoomed in too far. Alright. Like so. It does quite well on this paper. I'm really enjoying how it's going down on the paper. Now we're going to grab our black. Once again, we're going to give it a bit of a sharpen. And we're going to do our spots. And you say, well, they're already black. Why are you going to put more black on them? Well, because sometimes they're just not black enough. It's just like, it's a white page. Why are you putting white down? Well, because the white is necessary. All right, so now we're going to use our cherry red. We're going to do our butterfly. And then I think we're going to call it a day. So we're going to start with our red. We're going to flick this into the areas that are shadowy, that are darkest on the page. Now the great thing with the swatch chart that I've created is I did a line art, I did some grayscale, and more line arts. So it gives you the ability to see how it's going to work on the grayscale, how it's going to work on the line art. Now I will put this in I will put a swatch chart in the brain doesn't want to work. I'll put a swatch chart in the description below the video, a link to it. However, I am going to be changing it. So if you want to wait, actually that's what I'll do. I'll change it and then I'll add it. So if you don't see the swatch chart there for a little while, just know that I am changing it. So once it's changed, I will upload it. So I've got to go through and add the the names after I get them translated. So now I'm using number 82, which is an orange color. I'm going into that red. Like so. And then we're going to take our yellow and we're just going to fill in the rest on this area with the yellow, blending it into the orange and the red. For our butterfly, like so. Now I'm just going to blend that out a little bit more, soften those edges up. And then we're going to take a deeper yellow, brighter yellow, and we're going to do this edge here. That. And then we're going to take our brown, let's see this one here, and we're going to do his body. Then again with our black, do his little head. And his antennae. And his legs. Like so. And there we have our butterfly. Alright, I'm going to switch it over to the main camera here. So you can see all the colors together in the best possible view. Alright, so these are all the pencils that we've used. Hit the main. So there's all the pencils that we've used. And there are the colors of the flower as well as the butterfly and the ladybug. So they went down very smoothly. I was really impressed on how smooth they did on this cardstock. I'll have to try them on a coloring book to see how well they do with the Create Space paper. But sometimes, sometimes pencils just don't like that paper. So you always have to find the best pencil for the media that you're using. I am going to be going through these and rearranging a couple. I want number 34 to be over here, and at least over here, before 80, because we've got our yellow greens here, and this is more of a green. So I'm going to put that here after the yellow greens. All right, so I will rearrange this. I'm going to try to translate it. If you do want just this one and you're not worried about the translations and whatnot, send me a text message or an email and I will get that out to you. If you want it translated, because we do have the swatch chart from the website that does have the Japanese names on them. So I will go through all of this and I will translate it and then I will redo this swatch. But with our testing, it did fail the water and the smudge test. So make sure that you seal your coloring before you start rubbing your hands across it, before you start using your stickles or your water-based products on top of it. It does do the blends quite well, both the 3-color blend as well as the rainbow blend. Does blend with white. It does knock down the color quite a bit. And it does blend quite well with the Caran d'Ache blender. Turns out to be about 80 cents per pencil at today's price. This may go up, this may go down. Keep an eye on it. Comparatively to the Tombow colored pencils, because they do look very much like the Tombow colored pencils. The Tombows are thinner. They are a bit harder, not less pigmented or that sort of thing. It's that they just hold the point a little bit longer. They are just as smooth. These are a 3.3 millimeter core, so they are a thin pencil, and the Tombows feel a little bit thinner. I don't know if that's just the barrel is thinner or if it's the core itself is thinner. So I'm not quite positive on that. I think the Tombows were a 3.3 core as well. They could be a 3. They do blend with the Tombows, which is great. And they do cover just as well as the Tombows, which is also great. Um, they are a much, well, actually, they're about the same cost as a full set of Tombows. So I won't say that they're more budget friendly than the Tombows. You can get a full set of all pieces of the Tombow set except for the new colors. So all of the books on Amazon for about $95. However, this is 120 pencils. That is not. So this does have a little bit more of um, bang for your buck, so to speak, in pencil numbers as well as color numbers. I do find that the Tombows are also have a lot of colors in them that aren't used typically on a day-to-day basis. So this has more of the basic colors, more of the colors that you're going to use on a normal basis. The Tombows does have a lot of pastel colors as well as a lot of neon colors, where this has none. So you may find that that's a deal breaker as well. All right, so those are all the things I have found between the Tombows and the Seeing Essence. Personally, I don't think they're the same pencil. They work well together, so it is a great complement to both pencils. And of course, I'm happy to have them in my collection. I will color with them sometime soon, and we will see how well they do on a full page and that sort of thing. When I did receive them, I did have one little pencil that the core was broken in. And like I said, they did go from Japan to Canada and then to um, Oregon. So there was a little bit of jostling going on there. All right, guys, that is it for me. A really nice set of pencils, great color selection, and of course a fantastic color coloring ability for them. They blend very nicely. They are not waterproof. They are water soluble. So there is no water resistance. So make sure that you seal that with either the Caran d'Ache blender or something else before you use your water-based products on top of them. They are definitely smudge proof. So also before you start rubbing your hands across them, make sure that they're sealed in. With that, I think they're nice. I think they're so far really nice. They blended quite well. The swatch was really easy to do. They weren't scratchy or anything else. So I will see how they do on an actual picture at some point soon. And of course, I will let you know while we're doing that live. All right, guys, with that, I'd like to say thank you all very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video and found it at least, educational, if not entertaining. And of course, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube artist that you enjoy. And always, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe, everyone. Until next time, bye-bye for now.